Don't worry about me, I'll get along. Forget about me, be happy, my love. Let's say that our little dream is over, and so the story ends. Why not call it a day, the sensible way, and still be friends? Look out for yourself, that should be the rule. Give your heart and your love to whomever you love. Now, don't be a fool. Tell me, why do we cling to some silly thing that used to be? So if you can forget, don't worry about me. I was drawn to jazz primarily because of my family. My dad was a huge fan. He had a huge and diverse jazz collection, so that was in the mix from a very young age. For example, that song, Don't Worry About Me, it was kind of inspired by kind of a rediscovery of Joni Mitchell, you know. But I'm finding a lot of times, a lot of the guys like in my band and in the community, you know, jazz is our love and jazz is our tether, and then we feel free to explore. So a lot of the great young drummers right now are really open and able at a lot of different styles. Maybe it's hip hop, maybe it's R&B, maybe the piano player has been listening to somebody else who was listening to Mos Def, and that was their influence as they brought in their thing. So I think a lot of that had been swirling in my head for the last 2 years, like just continue on the journey that you're on and let it go where it takes you. We Move kind of came about really naturally to me because it was the title of a song that a friend of mine and I co-wrote, and I was writing a lyric, and it was just I don't know, it just kind of fit the song, and then it kind of fit the record. The lyric kind of talks about you know, not really feeling like you're good enough to be part of this relationship, which is definitely autobiographical, you know, like I'm not really strong enough. And one of the things I like to do when I write is just try to be truthful about where I'm at. Then when I thought about it in terms of the record, it's like, yeah, because everything I'm doing is trying to like keep the flow of my own kind of creative journey. I don't want it to be stunted. I don't want it to be reduced to just, I don't know, sound bites and dogma and stuff like that. So it's about a flow for me, you know, whether it's coming from one discipline and going to another, or about my life kind of being flipped and then being flipped back up again. That's what it's about. Still asleep at the end of the one line. There's a lot of songs that I'm really excited about on We Move. All of them are like my little babies. The title track, We Move, is something I wrote with a great dear friend of mine. Came over and he said, like, I'm working on this bass line, what do you think? And I was like, wow, you know. So that collaboration, it also meant something to me because I really believe in community too, and so many times when we're out doing our thing, we feel isolated, and I wanted to bring in guys that I play with, friends, guys that I have beers with, who are so talented on this record. So Eric wrote We Move with me. Jeb Patton, the piano player, he wrote Horizons, which we combined with the standard Once in a While. And Quincy, the drummer, he wrote this really great melody, and he wrote all the music actually to Ring Road, which is called Back to You also. So that kind of sharing in the process, that meant a lot to me, just because I wanted it to feel like, yes, it's my name on the record, but I'm part of this group of great guys, and I want to showcase them and have them showcase me too, you know. I love making music with Jeb, Quincy, and David. They're some of my all-time favorite musicians, so if I just had the joy to keep making music with them, I would be really happy. The idea for Royal Eyes, I was in the cab leaving from my grandfather's house to the airport, and that was the first line of the lyric. It was really about saying goodbye to people in your life that you may never see again, and how do you say goodbye if you have that knowledge? And that's kind of what happened, is that I left and I kind of knew that things were going worse with my grandparents, and then sure enough they passed on like a week later. So difficult, but again, for me, healing process and truth comes from writing about it, you know? So. Having John Clayton and Doug Wamble work different elements of the project, it brought out so much new stuff that I hadn't worked on before. With Doug especially, we holed up like for hours and hours and hours for a month with core ideas for songs, and then just layering, and I sang like 12 background vocals and like 16 guitars, and then saying, no, that doesn't work, and what about this blip or that squeak or this kind of thing. That process was collaborative and honest, and that's a form of collaboration that was fresh for me. So you see that on Every Ocean, Every Star, you see that on I'd Let You Know, you see that on Heartbeat, and you see that on We Move and some of the other songs. John Clayton, he helped so much with the first record, and was very excited to have him involved with the second record. You know, as you know, he's a superb musician, an arranger, a composer, a producer, and of course a bass player. Yeah, he's just kind of always had my back in a way that sometimes I really needed. With John, it's just like, you know, whatever you say is going to make me better, so please give it to me straight. And on the flip side, I feel like John does give it to me straight, and not everybody in that mentor role always does do that for the people that they're working with. They sugarcoat it or they PC it, and I'm really not about that, because I know what I want to do, and I appreciate people in my life saying, here's what you can do to make it to the next level. And John is someone who's at that next level and turns around and shares that info with me, and I'm thankful 10 times over for it.
What to give you want and
what I've realized about writing is that I'm really always excited to do it because I can do it anywhere at any time, and I can do it in installments. So I don't have to give all of myself right now. I just have an idea, I write it down, great. With singing, I feel like you're putting yourself all the way out there all the time. So practicing singing is one thing, but when you go to perform that kind of singing, you just have to just let your soul and your body just be at the edge of the stage and in all its raw ugliness, and there it is every day. So yeah, I love to perform, I love to sing, and if I had my way, and I mean this really seriously, I would do it every day. I mean, if I could, if they booked me like a 364-day tour, I will not complain. It's what I'm on this earth to do, so singing.